Hello guys, welcome back to the Farmers Footy channel. And wow, what a game we've just watched. And yeah, PSG are Super Cup, the UEFA Super Cup champions. So congrats to them. But this game was interesting. It wasn't super entertaining, I wouldn't say, but towards the end and the way this all turned out, the storyline and everything about it, I think it was wonderful. I'll be honest, I was cheering for Spurs this game. I wanted Spurs to win the Super Cup just because I thought that would be hilarious. Just if Spurs were to win over PSG, I think it would have sent the whole world into chaos. But they were close, but just didn't have enough. And it is the history of the Tottenham, unfortunately. But yeah, so congrats to PSG. I want to talk a little bit about, I guess, the player performances, what I think we saw in the game, who played well, who didn't, and what this means for PSG going forward and also for Tottenham. I have the lineups pulled up here. I'm going to do it in a similar fashion. Again, ignore the ratings. I'm not really going off the ratings you see here. I just want to speak about how I think each player did. So as a whole, I think Spurs really started that game pretty well. Even into the second half, I think they did fairly decent. But yeah, you could see towards the end, PSG had started putting pressure on, and it was only a matter of time before they scored. They had an offside goal that was disallowed, obviously, but I think overall Spurs gave it their all. They just need to hang on for a little bit longer. The first half, I think, was very excellent. Spurs were making chances, and maybe if Solanke was playing from the start instead of Richarlison, they might have been up by even more in that first half. But anyways, the first goal comes from Mickey van der Ven. Wonderful goal after an excellent save from Chevalier. That was a wonderful save from Chevalier. Great instinct to, I think, block a shot. It was from Palinia, but unfortunately it fell right to Mickey van der Ven, who, easy finish there for him. So that made it 1-0. Then we also saw Romero score early into the second half. Um, that one, I will say, I think that one Chevalier is to blame. He definitely could have done a bit better. He got his hands to the ball, but just wasn't strong enough. I like his hands just like weren't firm enough to keep the ball out. But I think overall, Romero, Van de Ven, decent games. I don't know why Van de Ven got a 5.8. Is it because of the missed penalty? But anyways, I think he played a decent game. I think the Tottenham center backs played fairly well. Denzel got spun a few times by Barcola, but he did well, I think, most of the time to recover and catch up to him. But the way these three were playing, they were really fighting. They were blocking shots. They were, trying to save Vicario the work of having to make any saves as much as they could. Palinia, I think, definitely a much better performance from him this game compared to when he played against us, Bayern. Yeah, he gave a penalty away in that game, but I think today, very good in the midfield, winning duels, doing his thing, winning tackles, winning duels. We know what he's good at. Bentancur, again, decent game. He also had a couple chances to score. That header from the corner that went wide. Kudus now, I think Kudus, once again, was one of Spurs' best player. Really good at carrying the ball forward, which we know is one of his strengths. He gave Nuno Mendes a pretty tough time despite this 7.2 rating. Once again, these ratings, I wouldn't take them too seriously. But yeah, Kudus, once again, I think had a pretty good game. He was really key to sort of advancing Spurs up the pitch, finding Richarlison for some shots. And yeah, I think their attack really was centered around Kudus. Sar, again, did decent. Nothing too crazy, I wouldn't say. Now we get to PSG. I think PSG for most of the game didn't look like themselves. Even some of their best players like Doué, like Kavicha, like Dembele for most of the game, to be honest. I know he finished here with a man of the match. I don't know. It wasn't Dembele's best game for me. Definitely not. I think he was quiet most of the game. But this is just what stars do. Like when the time came, he put in a wonderful cross to Gonzalo Ramos, who headed home the equalizer. But I think Dembele for most of the game was, I'd say, decent. I wouldn't say anything excellent. Honestly, I really like Barcola for most of the game. I think when PSG were down and weren't really looking like creating, I think Barcola was the one who was sort of pushing them up the pitch, carrying the ball out. I think he did fairly well in that. Yeah, their midfield, not too strong today, I guess, without Fabian Ruiz. I don't know why Fabian Ruiz didn't start today. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a fitness related issue. Let me know. But Zaire Emery, again, decent, nothing exceptional. Vitinha, I think he did fairly good. But again, Vitinha without João Neves and Fabian Ruiz, you could really see today why I've always said João Neves is PSG's best midfielder. Without him, you can see the impact it has on the midfield. And I know Vitinha is nice and tidy, and everyone loves to see him pass and dribble, but I still think João Neves is the reason that midfield works. He covers up for Vitinha when Vitinha wants to run around, while also still being really good on the ball. So João Neves is really good on the ball, really good defensively, really good at duels. He has it all. But anyways, that's what they were missing today. The defense, I didn't think they played necessarily super poorly. Marquinhos did get done by Palhinha for that second goal, I believe it was. But yeah, overall, I think it wasn't an excellent performance from either team. But PSG had enough. They took it to the penalty shootout and got their job done there. Let's just take a look at the penalty shootout details here. So we had Solanke scoring his, Bentancur scoring his, and yeah, Van de Ven missing and Tell missing, which Tell hurt me personally just because I love Matthijs Tell. He's a wonderful youngster, huge talent, and it's really sad to see him miss that penalty, but yeah, unfortunate. And then Porro scores his, but it was all too late. And then for PSG, Vitinha with that run up. What was that run up like? I think everyone knew once he started running that penalty was going wide. I really don't like the way Vitinha takes his penalties. I know it works for him sometimes. Waiting till the last second to see which way the goalie's going and then putting it the opposite way. I just really hate that. Even stutter penalties, I'm just not a fan of. But I mean, that's besides the point. PSG got it done. Dembele man of the match. I don't know if I'd agree necessarily, but I guess scoring his penalty, getting the crucial assist for the equalizer. But I want to talk a little bit about the subs specifically for PSG, and specifically Kang-in Lee as well as Fabian Ruiz. I think Fabian Ruiz coming on really changed this game around. Maybe like you could see before he came on that the midfield was kind of getting run through. They weren't looking too great. But Fabian Ruiz came on and like held everything together, got them advanced, was pressing. He looked like a player out there who wanted to win this game. Kang-in Lee with his goal, of course, I think that was a wonderful shot by him. Pretty clutch player, came on, scored the 2-1, and then scored his penalty as well. So hats off to him. I've always liked him as a player, and I think he's an excellent squad option for PSG, and I'm sure they'll call upon him later in the season as well. And I guess I got to give my credit to Gonzalo Ramos for getting to that position. That's what a striker is for. You got to have the movement, the positional play, and understanding. And when Dembele's cross comes in, you got to be there at the end of the cross to put it in. And that's exactly what Gonzalo Ramos did. So thanks to him, PSG were able to win today. But yeah, I think overall not an excellent game from either team, but it was entertaining nonetheless. Unfortunately for Spurs, they were not able to get it done today, even though I really would have liked to see that. And what does this mean going forward? I think you've seen how good Spurs can be, maybe flashes of it today. So I have been backing them for a fairly good season. I'm going to have my Premier League predictions out fairly soon, either later today or maybe tomorrow. But when it comes to out of positional play, out of possession play, Thomas Frank is one of the best, and I love Thomas Frank as a manager. I think he's really going to show how good he can be with this Spurs team. Like, people maybe didn't necessarily give him the credit at Brentford just because it's Brentford, but when he's taking over a bigger team with higher aspirations and more, bigger goals, then I think we'll see a new look Spurs this season and a much better Spurs this season. As for PSG, they I don't know if this is a call for concern. I don't think so. Spurs did play fairly well. They knew how to mitigate the risks of PSG's attack, PSG's threat. So PSG, I think they'll be fine. I don't expect to see them fall off like sometimes we do see, the Champions League winners fall off. But I think PSG will still be up there next season. I think they'll be excellent in Liga like they usually are. And I think when Champions League comes around, we can back them to be, one of the favorites once again. And I can see them going to the semifinals. I don't think this changed much. Teams are allowed to have their off games, and I think the biggest key thing for them will be having João Neves in their midfield. I can't stress this enough. João Neves is the most important midfielder for PSG, and he always will be. And yeah, I think that really showed today. So yeah, I think that's overall what I think of the games, what I thought of some of the players. Let me know you guys' thoughts down below. And yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe, please share, like, everything really helps. Still trying to just grow my channel here. Going to be posting a lot more consistently now that the season's going to be starting soon. So yeah, please subscribe. I'll be having another video coming out soon with my Premier League predictions. And then I'll probably do one for La Liga, Bundesliga, Serie A, and which one did I miss? Liga as well. Basically the top 5 leagues. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.